I stood in the doorway of my husband's office, clutching the forgotten watch in my hand, my heart pounding a little faster than it should have. At 35, I'd learned to navigate the corporate world with a quiet confidence, but today felt different. My name is Olivia Reynolds, and I'm the chairwoman of Reynolds Corporation, a mid-sized tech firm in New York City that's been climbing the ranks thanks to my behind-the-scenes strategies. But no one in the company knows that, except my husband Michael, the CEO. We've kept it that way since we married 5 years ago. It started as a way to avoid nepotism rumors. Michael had been with the company longer, and I preferred pulling strings from the shadows. My appearance didn't help the secrecy. I look younger than my age, with long chestnut hair often tied back in a simple ponytail, sharp green eyes, and a preference for casual blouses and slacks over power suits. Today I was in a plain white top and jeans, nothing that screamed executive. Michael was on the phone, his tall frame leaning against the desk, his dark hair slightly tousled from a morning of meetings. At 38, he was the picture of corporate charm, broad shoulders, a chiseled jaw, and those piercing blue eyes that had first drawn me in during a business conference. "Yes, the board meeting's in an hour," he was saying into the receiver. "Make sure the personnel list is updated. Directors, Robert Hayes, Emily Carter, John Patel, and the rest. Procedures as usual. Call to order, roll call, financial reports, old business on the merger, new business on the expansion." He hung up and turned to me, his face lighting up. "Olivia, what are you doing here? I thought you were working from home today." I held up the watch, a silver Rolex he'd left on the nightstand. "You forgot this. Figured you'd need it for the meeting. And since I'm chairing it today, virtually of course, I wanted to check in." He pulled me into a quick hug, his cologne a familiar mix of sandalwood and citrus. "You're a lifesaver. The board's antsy about the quarterly numbers, but with you steering from behind, we'll be fine." As we spoke, the door opened, and in walked Alex Gardner, Michael's executive secretary. Alex was in his late 20s, with slicked-back blonde hair, a lean build, and an air of overconfidence that bordered on arrogance. He wore tailored suits that screamed ambition, today a navy pinstripe that hugged his athletic frame. I'd never liked him much. He was efficient, sure, but there was something calculating in his hazel eyes. Rumors swirled that he flirted with Michael, but I dismissed them as office gossip. "Mr. Reynolds," Alex said, ignoring me at first. "The list is ready. No issues. Oh, and hello?" He finally glanced my way, his tone dripping with dismissal. "This is my wife, Olivia," Michael introduced, a hint of protectiveness in his voice. Alex's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Ah, the mysterious Mrs. Reynolds. I've heard so much. You must be here to deliver something?" I forced a polite nod. "Just the watch. I'll let you two get back to it." As I turned to leave, Michael's phone buzzed. "I have to take this. Alex, walk Olivia out?" Reluctantly, Alex followed me into the hallway. The office buzzed with activity, employees typing away, phones ringing. Reynolds Corp specialized in software solutions, and the open-plan floor was a mix of glass walls and modern desks. Once out of earshot, Alex's demeanor shifted. "So, you're the wife. Funny. Everyone says you're older, more matronly." I raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me?" He smirked. "No offense. But Michael, Mr. Reynolds, deserves someone who matches his energy, not some homemaker dropping off trinkets." The audacity hit me like a slap. "You have no idea who I am." "Oh, I think I do. The board meeting's soon. You should run along." I bit back a retort and left, fuming. Little did I know, that encounter was just the spark. Back home in our Upper East Side apartment, I prepped for the virtual chairing. But something nagged at me. Good news I'd been saving. I placed a hand on my stomach, smiling. At 5 weeks pregnant, it was our first child after years of trying. Tonight, we'd celebrate. The next morning, I woke up with a mix of excitement and nervousness bubbling inside me. At 35, after years of hoping and trying, the pregnancy test had finally shown positive, and I couldn't wait to share the news with Michael in person. He'd mentioned a quick follow-up to the shareholders' meeting, so I thought surprising him at the office would make the moment even more special. I dressed casually to blend in, a soft light blue sweater that hugged my figure comfortably, paired with slim black pants and comfortable flats. My long chestnut hair fell loosely around my shoulders, and I skipped any heavy makeup, opting for a natural look that made me feel approachable. As the chairwoman who preferred working remotely, I rarely showed up unannounced, which helped maintain the secrecy of my role. As I stepped into the sleek lobby of Reynolds Corporation, the familiar hum of activity greeted me, employees chatting over coffee, the clack of keyboards from the open-plan desks, and the faint scent of fresh brewed espresso from the nearby break area. The space was modern, with glass partitions reflecting the New York skyline outside. I smiled to myself, imagining Michael's reaction to the news. But before I could reach the elevators, Alex Gardner spotted me from behind the reception desk. His lean frame straightened immediately, and his hazel eyes narrowed with suspicion. He strode over quickly, his polished navy suit making him look every bit the ambitious executive secretary he was. "You again?" he said, his voice laced with irritation. "Mr. Reynolds is extremely busy this morning. The board meeting yesterday was a success, largely thanks to my preparations. What could you possibly need now?" I tried to keep my tone polite, not wanting to escalate things. "I'm just here to see my husband briefly. It won't take long." Alex crossed his arms, blocking my path more deliberately. His slicked back blonde hair caught the light, but his expression was anything but welcoming. "Your husband? Look, I don't know what game you're playing, but I see right through it. You're young, pretty, always showing up unannounced in casual clothes like you're trying to catch his eye. Mr. Reynolds is married to a respectable woman in her 40s, someone established and professional. Not someone who looks like they're auditioning for a role as his side piece." My cheeks flushed with anger, but I held my ground. "What are you implying? That's incredibly rude and completely wrong. I'm Olivia Reynolds, his wife. If you just let me pass, I can prove it." He scoffed, his smirk growing more condescending. "Oh, please. Everyone in the office knows his wife is older, more matronly. From the rumors, she's the mysterious chairwoman who never shows her face. You? You're dressed like a temptress sneaking around. Admit it, you're his mistress, aren't you? Trying to charm your way into his life, maybe even trap him with some sob story." The accusation hit like a slap, but I refused to back down. "How dare you speak to me like that? I am his wife, and if you don't move, I'll have to report this behavior myself." Before I could say more, Alex signaled to two security guards standing nearby. Tall, uniformed men with stern expressions, one with a buzz cut and the other with a neatly trimmed beard. "Gentlemen, this woman is harassing Mr. Reynolds. She's been causing disruptions. Please escort her to the side room in the lobby and hold her there until I can sort this out." The guards exchanged uneasy glances but complied, each taking one of my arms gently but firmly. "Ma'am, please come with us," the one with the buzz cut said, his voice professional yet apologetic. I pulled back slightly, my heart racing. "This is a huge mistake. Let me go. Call Michael right now. He'll clear this up." Alex followed us into the small side room, a cramped space with a table, chairs, and a mini-fridge stocked with drinks for visitors. The door clicked shut behind us, isolating us from the lobby's buzz. "No evidence to back up your claims, huh?" Alex sneered, leaning against the table. "You're just a gold digger looking for a payout. But I'll make you admit the truth. Guards, make sure she doesn't leave." Panic started to rise as the guards blocked the door. I reached for my phone, but Alex snatched it away. "Oh, no, you don't. Let's see how long you last without your little tricks." He opened the mini-fridge and pulled out a bottle of orange juice, shaking it menacingly. "You think you can waltz in here and steal a married man? Time to cool off." With a cruel laugh, he unscrewed the cap and poured the sticky liquid over my head, drenching my hair and sweater. The citrus scent filled the room as juice dripped down my face, stinging my eyes. I gasped, wiping it away, humiliated and shocked. "Stop this! That's assault!" I protested, my voice trembling. Alex wasn't done. He grabbed another bottle, this one a sports drink labeled with electrolytes and artificial flavors, and thrust it toward me. "Drink this, all of it, or we'll make things worse." I shook my head, backing away. "No, I can't. I'm allergic to some artificial sweeteners. It could make me sick." He rolled his eyes. "Lies to get sympathy. Guards, hold her steady." They hesitated but complied, pinning my arms lightly. Alex forced the bottle to my lips, tilting it until the liquid poured down my throat. I choked and sputtered, swallowing involuntarily as the overly sweet taste burned. My stomach churned almost immediately, the allergy kicking in with nausea and cramps. "Why are you doing this?" I managed between coughs, doubling over as pain radiated through my abdomen. "For seducing a married man," Alex replied coldly, watching without remorse. "Mr. Reynolds deserves better than some homewrecker like you." The room spun as the allergic reaction intensified. I clutched my stomach, terrified for the baby. "Please, call a doctor. I'm pregnant." Alex's eyes widened briefly, then hardened. "Even better, that'll teach you. We'll deal with whatever complications arise." The allergic reaction hit me like a freight train as I sat slumped in the side room chair, the sticky orange juice still dripping from my hair and soaking into my sweater. My throat was closing up, making each breath a labored gasp, and hives erupted across my arms and neck like angry red welts. The energy drink Alex had forced on me, laced with nuts, my worst allergen, had triggered it all. I clutched my stomach instinctively, terrified for the tiny life growing inside me. The guards, now looking panicked, exchanged worried glances. One of them, a burly man with a shaved head and a name tag reading Tom, muttered, "This wasn't part of the plan. She's having a real reaction. We need to get her to a doctor." Alex, however, remained unfazed, his hazel eyes cold and calculating as he paced the small room. "Fine, take her to the company clinic downstairs. But keep an eye on her. She's still a liar and a homewrecker. This is just dramatics to get sympathy." I tried to speak, but my voice came out as a wheeze. "Please, help. The baby. I'm pregnant. Allergic." Tom hesitated, his grip on my arm loosening slightly. "Sir, if she's pregnant and allergic, this could be serious. We should call an ambulance." Alex waved him off dismissively. "No ambulances. That'll draw attention. The clinic's funded by Reynolds Corp. They'll handle it discreetly. Tell them she's a trespasser who had an accident, and make sure she doesn't blab to anyone." The other guard, a younger guy with a mustache named Jake, helped me to my feet, supporting my weight as we moved toward the elevator. My vision blurred, and a wave of nausea rolled through me. By the time we reached the on-site clinic, a small, sterile facility on the ground floor with white walls, medical charts, and a faint antiseptic smell, I was barely coherent. The doctor on duty, a middle-aged woman in her 40s with short curly hair, wire-rimmed glasses, and a white coat embroidered with Dr. Elena Vasquez, rushed over as we entered. Her brown eyes widened in concern behind the lenses. "What happened here?" Dr. Vasquez demanded, guiding me to an examination bed. She checked my vitals quickly, her hands steady and professional. Her airways swelling, classic anaphylaxis. "Get the epinephrine ready." Alex stepped forward, flashing a fabricated note on company letterhead that he'd apparently prepared. "This woman was causing a disturbance in the lobby. She claimed to be Mr. Reynolds' mistress and got aggressive. In the scuffle, she ingested something she's allergic to. Handle it quietly, Mr. Reynolds doesn't want a scandal." I shook my head weakly, trying to sit up. "No, that's not true. I'm Olivia Reynolds, his wife, Chairwoman, please, check my ID. In my purse. Dr. Vasquez frowned, glancing between us as she administered an epinephrine shot into my thigh. The needle prick was sharp, but relief flooded in as my breathing eased slightly. Mistress, this doesn't add up. Let me see her ID. She rummaged through my purse, pulling out my driver's license and company badge, both clearly stating my name and position. Alex snatched the badge before she could examine it closely. Fake credentials. She's clever, but don't be fooled. Just stabilize her and send her on her way. No need to involve Mr. Reynolds. The doctor paused, her expression conflicted. This is irregular. If she's having a severe reaction and claims to be pregnant, we need to monitor for complications. Allergies like this can cause stress on the body, potentially harming a fetus. My heart sank at her words. Please, the baby, do an ultrasound. Make sure. Alex leaned in, his voice low and threatening. Doctor, remember who funds this clinic. If you want to keep your job, treat the reaction and discharge her. No extra tests. Reluctantly, Dr. Vasquez complied, hooking me up to an IV for fluids and antihistamines. Hours dragged on in the dim room, monitors beeping softly as my symptoms subsided. But deep inside, a dull ache grew, a sign something was wrong. Finally, she performed a quick check, her face falling as she reviewed the results. The haze of the allergic reaction lingered as I lay in the clinic's recovery room, the IV drip steadily administering fluids and medications to counteract the swelling and hives. The room was quiet, almost too sterile. White walls, a single window with blinds drawn against the afternoon sun, and the soft hum of a monitor tracking my heart rate. Doctor Vasquez had given me something to ease the nausea, but nothing could touch the deep ache in my abdomen, a persistent cramp that whispered of something terribly wrong. I kept one hand protectively over my stomach, willing the baby to be okay, even as fear gnawed at me. Hours had passed since the guards dragged me here, and Alex had slinked away after ensuring the doctor followed his orders. I felt isolated, vulnerable, like a prisoner in my own company's facility. Dr. Vasquez returned after what felt like an eternity, her wire-rimmed glasses perched on her nose as she reviewed a chart in her hands. She was a compassionate woman, I could tell, mid-40s, with kind lines around her eyes and a gentle demeanor that contrasted with the chaos I'd endured. She pulled up a stool beside the bed, her voice soft and measured. Mrs. Reynolds, or whoever you are, I've run some additional tests while you were resting. The epinephrine helped with the anaphylaxis, but the stress on your body was intense. Your blood pressure spiked, and combined with the reaction, I'm afraid it caused complications. My heart plummeted. What do you mean? The baby. Is the baby okay? Please, tell me straight. She hesitated, placing a reassuring hand on my arm. I'm truly sorry. The ultrasound shows no fetal heartbeat. The miscarriage is complete. It happens sometimes in early pregnancy under extreme stress or allergic events like this. The body goes into survival mode, and unfortunately, it couldn't sustain the pregnancy. Tears welled up immediately, hot and unrelenting, blurring her face. No, that can't be right. We tried for so long. This was our miracle. Sobs racked my body, each one sending fresh waves of pain through my core. The grief was overwhelming, a hollow void where hope had been just hours ago. I thought of the positive test, the secret smiles Michael and I had shared, the dreams of a family, all shattered because of one man's twisted misunderstanding. Dr. Vasquez stayed with me, offering tissues and quiet words of comfort. Take your time. Miscarriages are more common than people realize, but that doesn't make it any easier. We'll monitor you a bit longer to ensure no further complications, like infection or excessive bleeding. Do you have someone I can call? A family member? Michael, my husband, I managed between sobs. He's the CEO. Please get him here. Tell him it's urgent, about Olivia. She nodded, stepping out to make the call. time blurred in my anguish. I curled up on the bed, clutching a thin blanket, replaying the morning's events. How had a simple visit turned into this nightmare? Alex's accusations, the humiliation with the juice, the forced drink, it all cascaded into this irreversible loss. Finally, the door burst open, and Michael rushed in, his tall frame filling the doorway. His dark hair was disheveled, as if he'd run his hands through it a dozen times, and his blue eyes were wide with panic. He looked exhausted, his suit jacket askew from a day of meetings. "Olivia? Oh God, what happened? The doctor said it was an emergency. I came as fast as I could. Are you okay?" I reached for him, fresh tears streaming. "Michael, the baby. We lost the baby." His face crumpled as he sank onto the bed, pulling me into his arms. "What? No. How? Tell me everything, from the beginning." Through halting sobs, I recounted it all, Alex blocking my way, accusing me of being your mistress because of those office rumors that painted me as some older, absent figure, the guards holding me, the juice poured over my head to humiliate me, and worst of all, forcing me to drink that energy drink knowing, or not caring, about my nut allergy. The reaction, the stress, it was too much for our little one. Michael's expression darkened with each word, his jaw clenching in fury. "Alex did this? That ambitious snake, he must have bought into the gossip that you're some frumpy executive in her 40s never showing up. And with his ego, he saw you as a threat, maybe even competition for my attention. I never realized he was this unhinged. I'll fire him, sue him, hell, I'll make sure he never works again. But the baby, our baby," his voice broke, and he held me tighter, his own tears mixing with mine. We sat like that for a long time, piecing together the puzzle in whispered conversations. The rumors had started innocently, my choice to stay hidden to avoid nepotism claims, but they'd twisted into something poisonous. Alex, with his infatuation or jealousy, had escalated it to cruelty. "We'll get through this," Michael murmured, stroking my hair. "But he has to pay. For you, for what we've lost. We'll expose him. Make sure justice is served." As the initial shock ebbed, a quiet resolve built inside me. The grief was raw, but so was my anger. I'd built this company from the ground up. Now, I'd use that power to dismantle the man who destroyed our future. "Yes," I agreed, my voice steadier. "We'll make him pay. But first, hold me. Just hold me." The drive home from the clinic felt endless, the city streets of New York blurring past the car windows like a distant memory. Michael drove carefully, his knuckles white on the steering wheel, glancing at me every few seconds as if afraid I'd disappear. I sat in the passenger seat, wrapped in a soft blanket the doctor had given me, my body still weak from the allergic reaction and the miscarriage. My light blue sweater, now stained and ruined from the orange juice, clung uncomfortably to my skin, a constant reminder of the humiliation. I'd always prided myself on my resilience, building Reynolds Corporation from a startup in a tiny office to a thriving tech firm. But this loss had cracked something deep inside me. The grief was a heavy fog, making every breath feel labored, every thought circle back to what could have been. We pulled into the underground garage of our Upper East Side apartment building, a sleek high-rise with floor-to-ceiling windows and modern amenities we'd chosen for its privacy. Michael helped me out of the car, his arms strong around my waist as we took the elevator up to our penthouse. The doors opened to our spacious living room, neutral tones, plush sofas, and abstract art on the walls that I'd selected during happier times. He guided me straight to our bedroom, where the king-sized bed with its crisp white linens waited like a sanctuary. I sank into it gratefully, pulling the covers up as exhaustion washed over me. Michael paced the room, his tall frame casting long shadows in the late afternoon light filtering through the blinds. His dark hair was still tousled from the frantic rush to the clinic, and his blue eyes, usually so steady, were rimmed with red from unshed tears. He stopped at the foot of the bed, running a hand through his hair. "Olivia, I can't believe this happened. In our own company? Because of him. We have to do something. We can't let Alex get away with this." I nodded weakly, propping myself up on the pillows. My voice was hoarse from crying, but determination laced my words. "I know, but we need to be smart about it. Rushing and angry will just give him a chance to twist things. We need evidence, solid proof of what he did. Recordings, witnesses, maybe even emails or security footage from the lobby. If we go to the police without that, it'll be his word against mine, and with his position, he could spin it as a misunderstanding." Michael sat on the edge of the bed, taking my hand in his. His touch was warm, grounding. "You're right. I'll play it cool at the office tomorrow. Pretend I don't know anything about what happened to you. Act like the mistress incident he mentioned was just some minor security issue. That way, I can lure him out, get him to boast or slip up, maybe record our conversations on my phone. He's always been too cocky. It'll work to our advantage." We talked for hours as the sun set, the room growing dim until Michael flicked on a bedside lamp. I shared my fears, the pain of losing our child, the betrayal of someone we'd trusted in the company. It wasn't just the allergy, it was the stress, the humiliation. He poured juice over me like I was trash, forced that drink down my throat knowing it could hurt me. And all because of those stupid rumors making me sound like some invisible older hag. We kept my role secret to avoid drama, but it backfired. Michael's jaw tightened, but he kept his voice calm. "Those rumors end now. But first, Alex, over the next few weeks, while you heal, I'll gather what we need. Talk to the guards, Tom and Jake, see if they'll come forward. They seemed reluctant. Maybe guilt will make them cooperate." As days turned into weeks, I rested at home, my body slowly recovering under Dr. Vasquez's follow-up care. Physically, the hives faded, the cramps subsided, but the emotional scars ran deep. Grief came in waves. Mornings were the hardest, when I'd wake reaching for a belly that no longer held our future. Yet, that sorrow fueled a burning resolve. At 35, I'd poured my life into building Reynolds from scratch, turning it into a powerhouse in software solutions. Now I'd use that same strategic mind to dismantle Alex piece by piece. Michael updated me daily over dinner, simple meals he cooked to cheer me up, like pasta or salads on our balcony overlooking the city lights. "Alex is strutting around like a hero," he'd say one evening, setting down plates. He pulled me aside today and boasted, "I handled that mistress situation for you, sir. Kept it quiet. Protected your reputation." I nodded like I was grateful, but recorded every word. He's digging his own grave. One night, as we brainstormed over herbal tea, I couldn't stomach anything stronger. I had the idea. What if we set a bigger trap? Something public to expose him. Host an anonymous awareness event about workplace ethics or infidelity in corporate settings. Make it a live stream. Invite speakers on exposing mistresses or something ironic. Alex is so eager for promotion, if we dangle it as a project for the chairwoman, he'll jump at organizing it. Then, we turn the tables, reveal everything live. Michael's eyes lit up. "Brilliant. We'll make it seem like it's my initiative, but you'll pull the strings from behind. When the time comes, we'll have the evidence ready, videos, witness statements. He'll walk right into it." I smiled for the first time in weeks, a small inward curl of satisfaction. The stage was set, and Alex had no idea the reckoning was coming. The day of the event arrived like a storm cloud finally breaking, heavy with anticipation and the weight of our carefully laid plans. The venue was a mid-sized conference hall in downtown Manhattan, rented under a neutral company name to avoid suspicion. It buzzed with energy, rows of folding chairs filled with invited guests, mostly industry professionals and a smattering of media types curious about the Workplace Ethics and Integrity Symposium. Overhead lights cast a harsh glow on the stage, where a podium stood flanked by large screens for presentations. Cameras were set up for the live stream, red lights blinking as technicians adjusted angles. I arrived incognito, slipping in through a side door, my face partially hidden by a wide-brimmed hat and oversized sunglasses. Though weeks had passed since the incident, faint shadows of bruising lingered under my makeup, a reminder of the ordeal. I wore a simple black dress that concealed my still-healing body, my long chestnut hair pinned up to avoid recognition. I felt older than my years, but determination burned in my green eyes. I was here to end this. From the back row, I watched Alex take the stage, his lean frame exuding false confidence in a sharp gray suit, blonde hair slicked back as always. He tapped the microphone, his hazel eyes scanning the crowd with a smug smile. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today for this important discussion on exposing unethical behavior in the corporate world. Specifically, we're here to shine a light on those who undermine families and reputations, like mistresses who prey on successful executives. Today, we'll tear apart such deceit right here, live, to show the consequences." The audience murmured, some nodding in agreement, others shifting uncomfortably. Alex gestured dramatically to the wings. "And to demonstrate, we've identified a prime example. This woman has been sneaking around, claiming connections she doesn't have, all to disrupt a happy marriage." Spotters he'd hired, disguised as event staff, moved through the crowd and grabbed my arms, pulling me toward the stage. I didn't resist much, playing along as planned, my heart pounding. "Let go of me," I protested for show. "This is a mistake." Alex's eyes lit up with triumph as I was pushed into the spotlight. "See? This is her, the supposed mistress of a high-profile CEO. Dressed innocently, but we know the truth. She's been humiliated before, juice dumped on her, forced to face her allergies, and yet she persists. Today we'll expose her lies publicly. Team, share your insights on handling such deceivers." The team, a group of hired speakers posing as ethics experts, 3 women in professional attire with stern expressions, stepped forward. One, a tall brunette with sharp features, sneered. "We've seen types like you, charming, young, thinking you can steal what's not yours. Admit it, you're after his power, his money. The audience deserves the truth." I stood tall, removing my hat and glasses, my voice steady despite the nerves. "You're wrong, all of you. This is based on lies and assumptions." The crowd whispered, phones out for the stream. Then, the side door burst open, and Michael strode in, his tall frame commanding attention in a tailored suit, dark hair neatly combed but his blue eyes blazing. "Stop this now," he boomed, marching to the stage. "Alex, what the hell are you doing?" Alex faltered, his smirk fading. "Mr. Reynolds, this is for you, for the company. She's the mistress I told you about." Michael reached the podium, grabbing the mic. "No, she's not. Everyone, listen. This woman is Olivia Reynolds, my wife of 5 years, and the chairwoman of Reynolds Corporation. She's the one who built this company from nothing, working behind the scenes to avoid rumors. Alex here orchestrated this farce based on twisted gossip, thinking she was some intruder." Gasps rippled through the hall. Alex turned pale, stammering. "That's impossible. The rumors said your wife was older, absent. I was protecting you." Michael signaled to a technician, and the screens lit up with evidence, hidden camera footage from the lobby showing Alex's accusations and the humiliation, audio recordings of his boasts in the office. "I handled that mistress for you, kept her quiet with a little allergic surprise." Witness statements from the guards scrolled by, detailing how they'd been coerced. The audience erupted in shock, murmurs turning to outraged whispers. "He caused her miscarriage?" someone called out. Alex backed away, sweat beading on his forehead. "This is a setup. I didn't know. I thought—" "You thought wrong," I said, stepping forward, my voice clear and unwavering. "Your jealousy and ambition blinded you. You humiliated me, triggered my allergy on purpose, and cost us our child, all over a misunderstanding you refused to question. Michael put his arm around me protectively. The police are on their way. This ends here. As sirens wailed in the distance, the live stream captured it all, ensuring Alex's downfall was as public as his cruelty. The conference hall descended into chaos as Michael's words hung in the air, the screen still flashing damning evidence of Alex's schemes. The audience, a mix of shocked professionals and buzzing media reps, whispered furiously, phones held high to capture the unfolding drama on the live stream. Sirens wailed outside, growing louder as police officers pushed through the double doors at the back of the room. Two uniformed men and a woman, badges gleaming under the stage lights, their expressions stern and professional. They'd been tipped off anonymously by Michael earlier, ready to act on the assault, defamation, and coercion charges we'd compiled. Alex stood frozen on the stage, his once confident posture crumbling. His lean frame seemed to shrink in the gray suit, sweat now visibly soaking through his collar. His slicked-back blonde hair disheveled from frantic gestures. His hazel eyes darted wildly, searching for an escape that wasn't there. This can't be happening," he stammered, backing away from the podium. "Mr. Reynolds, Michael, please, I didn't know. I thought she was just some intruder, a threat to your marriage. The rumors, everyone said your wife was older, distant. I was trying to protect you, the company. I swear, it was all a misunderstanding." Michael stepped forward, his tall frame towering over Alex, blue eyes cold with restrained fury. "A misunderstanding? You accused her, humiliated her with juice poured over her head, forced her to drink something you knew, or should have known, could trigger her allergy. And because of that misunderstanding, we lost our child. Our unborn baby, Alex. You didn't just make a mistake, you committed crimes. Assault, defamation, endangerment, and will prove intent with every recording and witness we have." I stood beside Michael, my black dress feeling like armor now, my green eyes locked on Alex. The faint remnants of bruises hidden under makeup throbbed as a reminder, but my voice was steady, cutting through the noise. "You begged the guards to hold me, coerced the doctor to ignore my pleas, all because your ambition and jealousy blinded you. You saw me as competition, didn't you? Thought if you eliminated the mistress, you'd climb higher, maybe even get closer to Michael yourself. But you destroyed a life, our child's life. There's no excusing that." The team of hired speakers, the three women who'd been ready to expose me, exchanged horrified glances, their stern facades cracking. The tall brunette, who'd sneered at me earlier, turned to Alex with disgust. "You lied to us, said she was the homewrecker, that this was for ethics. But you're the one who orchestrated all this? We're out. We're not part of your mess." As the police approached the stage, handcuffs ready, Alex dropped to his knees, his voice breaking into desperate pleas. "Please, officers, wait. It was an error in judgment. I didn't mean for anyone to get hurt. The allergy was an accident. I'll apologize. Make amends. Michael, we've worked together for years. Give me a chance to fix this." The lead officer, a no-nonsense woman with short-cropped hair, shook her head. "Sir, you're under arrest for assault, defamation, and related charges. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law." They cuffed him, the metallic click echoing through the hall. Alex's dignity shattered live on stream as the team, now turning on him at Michael's nod, began verbally dismantling him in front of the cameras. "You're the real deceiver," one said loudly, "preying on trust, ruining lives for your gain." The audience watched in stunned silence, the live feed capturing his tear-streaked face, his pleas turning to sobs as he was led away. In the aftermath, Michael fired him on the spot via a public announcement, blacklisting him across industry networks we'd alerted. No firm would touch him now, his reputation in ruins, just as he'd tried to ruin mine. As the hall emptied, Michael pulled me close. "It's over. Justice for our child." But the punishment wasn't just legal, it was the exposure, the fall from grace he'd engineered for himself. Months passed like a slow-healing wound after the explosive reveal at the event, and Reynolds Corporation emerged stronger than ever from the scandal. The live stream had gone viral, racking up millions of views overnight, with headlines screaming about corporate betrayal and the fall of an ambitious secretary. Our stock dipped briefly from the publicity, but Michael's swift handling, firing Alex publicly and issuing a company-wide statement about integrity, turned it into a PR win. We emphasized transparency, even revealing my role as chairwoman to quash future rumors. At board meetings, now held in our sleek conference room with panoramic city views, directors like Robert and Emily praised the changes. "This has unified us," Robert said one afternoon, his stout frame leaning back in his leather chair. "Your leadership, Olivia, was the missing piece we didn't know we needed." I sat at the head of the table, my long chestnut hair tied back professionally, dressed in a tailored blazer that made me feel empowered again. The grief still lingered, a quiet ache that surfaced on quiet nights, but I'd found a fragile peace in the justice we'd achieved. Alex's arrest led to a swift trial. The evidence was overwhelming. Videos, audio, witness testimonies from the guards who'd finally come forward out of guilt. He was convicted of assault, defamation, and endangerment, sentenced to 3 years in prison with hefty fines. Last I heard, through indirect channels like mutual acquaintances, he was rotting in obscurity, released early on parole but blacklisted from every tech firm in the city. No one would hire him. His name became synonymous with corporate sabotage. Michael and I grew closer through it all, our bond forged in fire. One evening, as we sat on our balcony overlooking the twinkling lights of Manhattan, sipping herbal tea under a blanket, he turned to me with those piercing blue eyes. "Olivia, we've been through hell, but look at us. We're still here. Are you ready to try again? For a family?" I placed my hand on his, feeling the warmth. "I am. The loss will always hurt, but it doesn't define us. We've mourned. We fought back. Therapy helped, talking it out, processing the trauma. And now, with the company thriving and Alex paying the price, I feel like we can move forward. Let's see a specialist. Take it slow. Our child deserved justice, and we gave it to them." He pulled me close, his voice soft. "You're right. Revenge wasn't about sweetness. It was necessary. To heal. To protect what we have. I love you more for your strength." Life settled into a new rhythm. I took on a more visible role at work, mentoring young employees and implementing anti-harassment policies that became industry standards. Weekends were for us, walks in Central Park, where autumn leaves crunched underfoot, or quiet dinners where we'd dream aloud about the future. We started fertility treatments cautiously, hopeful but grounded. The pain of loss didn't vanish, but it softened, making room for gratitude. In the end, justice wasn't just Alex's downfall, it was our rebirth, a testament to resilience. We moved forward, carrying the memory of what we'd lost, but building something unbreakable in its place.